In our previous video, we talked about while loops, and in this video, we are going to talk about for loops. So, without further delay, let's dive into this. If you are new to this channel and interested in coding and technology related stuff, then hit that subscribe button and click on notifications so you don't miss anything. Okay, so now let's first start with a for loop. And to understand for loops, let's take the same example that we took in our previous video, which is to print numbers from 1 to 5. Recall that in our previous video when we talked about while loops, we first initialize and declare a variable, then we use that variable in a condition, and if that condition is true, we print the value of the variable. After that, we increment the value. So a loop has three stages. The first stage is where we initialize a variable, and the second stage is where we use that value in a condition, and the third stage is where we update the value of a variable. In case of a while loop, each stage are separated on different lines, and in the parenthesis of while loop, we only have this stage which is the conditional stage. But in case of a for loop, all of these stages are included inside of these parentheses, separated by a terminator. So the syntax of a for loop first starts with the keyword for. After that, we have the parenthesis as usual. And inside of the parentheses, we write the first stage of the loop, which is to declare and initialize a variable. And we are going to initialize it to 1 because we are going to start from 1 up to 5. Then we have this terminator. So this terminator is going to act like a separator between the different stages of the loop. So the second stage, which is the important stage, is the conditional stage. So the condition we are going to write is if num is less than equal to 5, and then we again write the terminator. So this terminator is going to separate this conditional stage from the stage that we are going to write next, which is the update stage, which in our case is going to be an increment of this variable. And remember that we don't have a terminator after this update stage because there is no stage after this. And these terminators act like a separator between the stage. So this terminator is going to separate this stage from this stage. Similarly, this terminator is going to separate this stage from this last stage. So that's why we don't have a terminator after this update stage. And then we have the body of the for loop as usual, inside of which we are going to write the statements that are going to get executed after this condition is evaluated as true. And the statement that we want to get executed when this condition is evaluated as true is the printf function, where we are going to print the value of the variable, which is num. So %d comma the name of the variable. So this for loop is going to print numbers from 1 up to 5, including the 5. Now if I run this program, we see the output 1 2 3 4 5, and to add the space, we add it inside of these two quotes after we print the number. So now if I run this, we see the output as expected, the space between the numbers. And one thing I would like to note here is that if you are using an old C compiler like Turbo C, then declaring a variable inside the for loop is not allowed. So we first have to declare the variable, and then we can initialize it inside the for loop. So this is how you are going to use a for loop in case of an old C compiler. But that is not the problem in our case, so we can remove that and we can initialize and declare the variable inside the for loop. And now let's talk about how this for loop works. So first thing it does, it declares and initializes the variable as usual, and initializes this, in our case, this num variable to 1. After that, it checks the value of the variable num, which in our case is 1. So it checks if this 1 is less than or equal to 5, and it is, so this is evaluated as true. And now surprisingly, instead of executing this last stage of a loop, it's simply going to go inside the for loop to execute this statement. So when this condition evaluates as true, which in our case is evaluated as true because 1 is less than 5, instead of going to update the value of num variable, it's going to go inside the for loop. That's how for loop works. But this is only going to happen for the first time. So when the for loop runs for the first time, it's not going to update the value. So it's going to skip this stage for the first time. And when it's done executing all the statements inside the body of the for loop, then only it's going to update the value. And in our case, it's going to update this value to 2. So we start with 1, and this increment operator, we are incrementing the value by 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So this num now stores a value 2. After updating the value, the control is going to reach back to the same condition. Now it's going to check the condition one more time with the updated value. So the value in our case, the updated value is 2. So is 2 less than 5? Yes, indeed it is less than 5. So this is going to evaluate as true, and now it's going to go inside the body of for loop and execute this printf statement, which is going to print the value 2, which is the updated value. After that, it's going to go back to the this update stage, and it's going to update the value from 3 to 2. Then it's going to check the condition one more time. So with the updated value, which is 3, is 3 less than 5? Yes, it is. So this is going to evaluate as true, and it's going to come back to the body of for loop and print the updated value, which in this case is 3. Then come back to the update stage and update the value from 3 to 4. Then it's going to check, is 4 less than 5? Yes, it is. So it's going to go inside and print the value of 4. Then come back to increment the value of 4 to 5. And now it's going to check, is 5 less than 5? No, it's not, but it is equal to 5. So this is going to evaluate as true as well, and it's going to go inside the body of for loop and print the value 5. Then it's going to go back to the update stage, and here it's going to update from 5 to 6. Now it's going to check the condition one more time. Is 6 less than 5? No, it's not less than 5. Okay, is it equal to 5? Neither it's equal to 5 nor it is less than 5. So this condition has been evaluated as false now. And when this condition evaluates as false, the control reaches outside the for loop. So now it's not going to execute this printf statement. So it's going to go out of the for loop, and as you can see, there is only this statement here, which is going to exit our program. We can also make this for loop act like this a while loop. So just in case of a while loop, we first declare initialize a variable outside the for loop. Similarly, we can do that by simply removing this line, but we must have to keep the terminator in its place. So we can place it before the for loop and the terminator. If we keep it like this, it's still going to work, but we want to make it similar to this while loop. So for that, we also need to remove this update stage and place it right after this printf function. Now if I run this, we should get the output as expected. And don't forget, it's very important, don't forget to place these terminators at their right positions. Now if I run this, we see the output as expected. So now this similar to a while loop. So with that, we come to an end of this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care.